Are we ready? Can I start? Thank you. Now, so this presentation is kind of an introduction to today's work. Actually, we've got two kind of long and I hope really kind of fruitful exercises to do. And the title of today's workshop is to make a change to keep motivation. And actually, the agenda for today is that 50% of it is going to be theory, and that's the presentation. But there is no prescription for, no formula of how to work and so on. It's just plan things and some kind of a story I would love to tell you about how works with their clients, right? And so first we had this quick revision in terms of showing the phrases from last day, right? Dissatisfaction and so on, and it was kind of a revision of the Becker's formula you heard about yesterday. Now, in the presentation, I'm going to tell you how we keep motivation as an organization with clients by working with them, and I will present a few methods or techniques that we apply in working with people. And then the rest, after the presentation, we'll have the workshop part, and there will be two exercises. The first one, as you can see, shows questions, so it'll be connected with applying this kind of method in working with people. And the other one is kind of treasure hunting, and naming the potentials. You'll see what it's all about in a few minutes, right? So a quick revision, very quick snapshot of the Becker's formula. Dissatisfaction times vision times first steps will all be greater than resistance. And actually I will expose this component of resistance a little bit in the further part of the presentation. So, while motivating people and working with them, their motivation changes, it fluctuates. It's never steady, and you need to keep it. And of course it changes throughout the process. At the very beginning, it's very often the eagerness, the want to change, for example. But at times, or at the very beginning as well, a shortage of clients' drive and this kind of willingness to change appears. So the level of stress can rise, and it's kind of an outcome of the confrontation between the vision and the actual state, the status quo, for example, and the facts of what's happening here and now, the real events. And sometimes the crisis appears, right? And then, of course, resistance appears, and we need to decrease it. We need to work on lowering it down. Of course, the client can experience temporary discouragement, and sometimes it's kind of a blockage, a block that, or a wall that he comes to and just cannot see anything beyond it, right? Or just forgets, or she forgets that he can do things. I no longer remember, so you need to work on it as well. So why is it important to unblock the client? Well, so I mentioned the wall, right? You need to, for example, break a hole in the wall for him to see new opportunities or anything that's beyond it. Or in case he or she forgets that he's able to do, that he has some resources like skills, abilities, you need to make him remember, right? And then, well, we keep working on empowering, yeah, making the Superman or Superwoman out of the person we're working with, right? How? Well, as I said, there is no prescription, there is no formula for this, but just let's have a quick look at certain ways of how to do it. For example, group meetings could be a solution. Well, social interactions are always helpful, especially when you're blocked, when you don't really go out much, or you have this kind of limited social circle you function in. So it's nice to invite such people to social interactions. Applying tools and techniques that are used in individual work. For example, what you did yesterday, right, with yoga. this collage, right? It's perfect for individual work, but when you apply it in a group and you see how many people give you feedback, and you don't work with one person, but in a group, you see the richness of the opportunities that they come up with while brainstorming things, for example, right? And what's also important is creating kind of social networks or circles that will survive the project's deadline, right? So they function after the project or after the event or a workshop that is actually organized, kind of enhancing it, kind of making it function after the project is completed, right? That will be about group meetings. Then questions. When you work with a person, it's always good to ask different kinds of questions, and you'll feel, I hope you'll feel the power of them today in one of the exercises. And again, why are they important? Well, you don't really give solutions as a counselor, right? But you kind of, by asking questions, you make the person come up with the solution slowly, right? Drawing from his or her own experience, right? And that's how he or she can understand her or his challenge better. Just to look inside and just kind of rethink what the situation is now, for example, and then coming to vision what it's going to be later. And well, the power of questions, we believe, as Pino, as an organization, that the power of questions is greater than applying or serving solutions. This is what you should do, right? So that will be about questions. Then you can also apply some creative thinking techniques. I love this picture. I'm not sure if you like it, but there are some examples of those creative thinking techniques, like drawings. One of them is showed. Then associations, metaphors, projective techniques. Have you ever heard of them? Projective techniques? Yes. Yes, exactly. Yes, that's one example. So for example, another example could be an unfinished sentence, very general sentence, yes? And you should kind of finish it off with your own kind of ending that means something for you, right? Or you get a tool and you should identify it with a, I don't know, marker. Why am I a marker? You just got a small dragon, yeah? Gets you off the blockage, for example, that you're in, right? It just kind of changes the way you think about yourself and your situation, right?
We'll also use today some cards from game Dixit, so we will have an occasion to see how we can use it, yeah? Right. For me it's a great tool.
Yeah. That's the game itself, right? Yeah. But we won't play Dixit, it's not much. Now, well, using humor, you know, just to release the tension, the stress I mentioned before, or creating the least probable, like, kind of absurd scenarios of what can happen, or, yeah, so that would be it. And naming the potentials. Where very often, you know, when you don't remember you can't do things, or you're absolutely stuck, you just don't know what you can, you just don't know your abilities, right? Well, I named it from interaction to inspiration. So whenever you kind of forced or made to reflect upon your current situation, you can conduct some kind of a spring cleaning in your mind. Yes? So you just go back to the past and you kind of think about what you have, think about your resources, and you just clean out things you don't need, for example, and your strengths kind of remain, yes? And this is what you build on, and you can recall success stories, something that was really good in your professional life or private life, to realize that actually you have a lot, and then you can build on it, right? In some exercises we did yesterday, again, you got work feedback. And for some people, I know it was discouraging, but for some, that was very uplifting. And that's why I said about we can move from interaction, for example, group feedback and interaction with people, to inspiration, to see which direction to go in, because you see that people see something in you and they kind of lead you in the right direction by giving you feedback, right? And, well, you know, there's a joke, some of us don't need it. Can you see the cartoon here? Right. Yeah, the very wise quotation. That was something that Clara came up with, and I was thinking if you could put it in the presentation, but I liked it. And yeah, well, when you discover your strengths and when you take part in this kind of one-to-one session, you get the new eyes. Yes, you get a new perspective while looking at yourself, your opportunities and a new future. So I think that's a value of this kind of work that is applying and promoting.